Hello, my name is Sawyer Stroud, and today I will be sitting down with the production stage manager for Cirque du Soleil named Gerard. Eric, what show is it that you're a part of again?
I'm on Cirque du Soleil's Dralion arena tour, and I'm the production stage manager. I deal with logistics, customs, getting the show from city to city, and yeah.
What do you see as the role of the visual arts in mass-mediated world, and particularly in your profession?
I think this mass-mediated world is we've kind of been, and especially in our industry with the introduction of video and LEDs and projection, we've every aspect as far as architecture, construction, video, cinema, and imagery, and kind of incorporated that into what we do and to present for the artists.
Okay. So then, number two, with new communications and media technology, imagery is almost instantly available. Do you believe that this is having a positive or negative influence on the industry? Please provide an example.
I think it's done a little bit of both. I mean, you can get stuff done a lot quicker, but I think it's also taken the fine detail out of the work. So an artist can now render something up in a few hours rather than a full week or months it would take in. But I think some of that fine detail and that precision is kind of taken out of it because of that. So I guess it has its ups and downs.
All right. What popular images do you see that are frequently rechanneled throughout the entertainment industry?
I don't. Let's see. I don't really think it's one image per se. I think it's more of an idea of an image, especially in the entertainment industry. We've come to a band on stage with just the band members and a full audience to a full theatrical presentation, pyro, video, lights, sound, effects, all of that. I think that's what people. So I think it's more of an idea of an image than an actual set-on image.
Okay. Are there particular images that the industry has popularized or created?
No, I think it all depends on what part of the industry you're in, and I guess in the touring or in the live entertainment industry, I think it all comes from the artists. I think themes and styles are based on current events because that's what artists and shows coming out are trying to be based on, so people can. So.
Do you think there's any image that Cirque in particular has really created that's become more recognizable now than maybe 20 years ago?
Not so much. I think it's such a broad. The brand of Cirque du Soleil is so broad that it tries to incorporate everything. I think with its sit-down shows in Vegas, a lot of the image of like the pop star or big name bands has really come out with their interest in Cirque du Soleil and Cirque du Soleil's interest in producing them. But yeah, I think we try to keep our palette open so we can accept and portray any kind of image that we need to.
So you think they've had kind of a profound effect upon theater in general? Everybody kind of wants a little taste of Cirque in their shows.
I think that's true. I've had so many people come to me and say, "Oh, hey, there's a Cirque show down the street." I'm like, that's not one of our shows, but
Cirque-esque, maybe.
As Cirque-esque as we call it. But yeah, we do applaud companies who try to take our image and incorporate it into their show. It's. Yeah.
I was going to say, I just saw Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark last week. Interesting. show to say the very least, but the whole beginning of it is silks. There's a whole big silk thing at the beginning, which I just kind of laughed to myself. It was like 10 years ago that probably would have never been utilized. So,
yeah, Cirque is now on its 26th or 27th birthday. So it's been a long time, and we still try to put out every year.
yeah. Who is one of your favorite visual artists, and or what is your favorite style of visual art?
I'm a huge visual. I guess visually, I would say something like Andy Warhol or Roy Lichtenstein. They're both very famous pop culture artists. But recently, I've actually been interested in light and shadow sculptures. There's a couple named Tim Noble and Sue Webster, and they play a lot with. They take like garbage and one beam of light, and then kind of sculpt it into a shadow on the wall. But when you look at the piece, without the piece of light, you would never know what it was until that beam of light. And also, there's one of the nice things about for us being able to travel is we're in so many different cities, and what I find is each city has a museum or art display to show, so I try to visit those as much as possible to get that no matter where we are in the world. And then there's also another artist called Kumi Yamatasha, I think. She's also another shadow artist, and their works are kind of they're incredible. They take small little pieces of art or pieces of whatever, metal, wood, and kind of play with light to create their sculptures.
That's cool.
Let me see if I can
make this bigger. Oh, that's really cool.
Tim Noble and Sue Weber, they've just taken pieces of garbage, and the shadows on the wall are being projected by a single piece of light. There's kind of a...
That's really cool.
What's this other one now? So this one was made with, it's called The Kiss of Death. It was made with 34 taxidermy animals.
Ew, that's kind of creepy.
So yeah, that's one kind of...
That's cool though.
That was fun. A bunch of garbage. And then here's work by Yamashita. Yeah, there we go. But she's taken like she just played with angles and light to create her work. So there's it's actually one light source, and then this piece that's along the wall there, and it actually created the shadow of a man, and there's kind of it as on an angle.
That's so cool.
I don't know, it's something different.
It's unique, yeah.
Exactly. And then...
And you with a background originally in lighting.
Exactly. You gotta start somewhere. Yeah, here's another one. It's called Clouds.
It's beautiful.
So again, one light source, and then the last one. This is one of my favorite pieces. So she's taken, again, light and shadow, but various different pieces, in this case, numbers and letters, and no, it's just numbers, to create this woman's shadow along the wall.
That's really cool. The time that must take, to figure out exactly the placement to get that perfect shadow.
Yeah, it goes back to what I talked about earlier about just fine detail and taking the time. It's not like you can just sit there and throw some things against the ground and expect those shadows to be there. So it takes a lot of time to get that detail in, and yeah.
All right, and last but certainly not least, how has your knowledge of famous artworks influenced your creative process?
For me, it's helped me realize that there needs to be a happy medium between the fine details and the big picture. You kind of have to step back and take a look at what you're doing as a whole, and then you also have to be able to think about and be able to control those fine details. Especially.
Oop, I lost that last little bit. It cut out. I'm sorry.
What part didn't you hear?
I heard especially, and that was it.
Oh, I was saying, especially with what I do and what our company does, we deal with large shows and people's lives, and it's, you have to be able to, again, that big picture and the finer details between safety and aesthetics, and kind of incorporate that all into what people see. And a lot of people don't realize the work that has to be done to put on a show like this size.